Hey fast fellas, SpeeDMan here. Today's episode we're going to do some more work here, placing a lot more of these preserves and trying to get our culture up to spec. As we recall here, there are some of the abilities for the Ptolemaic version of Cleopatra. Really synergizes well with the floodplains that we have around here. Really synergizes quite well with all the floodplains around here, so this is definitely good. And we're also going to play some more Sphinx so that way we can get that additional culture. That'll be a good way for us to do that. Most of our cities have walls, so we're doing okay. You know, when the potential attack happens, we'll be in a better position, so it's not going to be as bad or threatening. Yeah, we're going to go for a culture victory, but I think honestly any victory is going to be a good thing. So if we go for like a diplomatic victory, we could honestly go for that. But again, it's going to depend on what we get, you know, later in the game. Because with what we have available to us, a preserve only is going to be pretty tough to do in any case. But we are going to continue on and just do our best. We'll do that and remove that. We will get that. We then place that down. Once we place a massive amount of these preserves and groves down, we'll be pretty much in a good position where we're going to be competitive from a culture standpoint. So, you know, that it's not all bad. It honestly is not all bad. We definitely want to target the Taj Mahal. That would be a very good wonder for us to get. Just from the standpoint of era score. Okay, good. So we got the grove done here. We can see, I mean, these are insanely good tiles already. We're at just about 85 culture per turn, which is nice. That's an improvement. That brings us up closer to the AI. Now we can focus on some stuff here that will definitely be adding value. Now, Chichen Itza, it's honestly it's an okay wonder. It's a good wonder if you have a very large amount of rainforests. Like, for example, you know, some of these rainforest tiles down south, you know, maybe. They do have a trading post available, so that's good. Since we got that trading post completed down south, we'll have some options. Let's see, what proposal has been made? We met Spain. We met Guyavaraman. That's a fantastic amount of gold. And then we will do mutual open borders. And then see, just by beating people, we have made some gold deals that are insane. And we just immediately got ourselves 100 up to 124 gold per turn, well above what we had before. Just like that. And we met Japan. That's another. Oh, we met Tokugawa. Okay, interesting. Moderate flood. Fortunately, we do not take flood damage, but we also got 2 tiles gaining fertility. So that's not bad. Yeah, you can see here, you know, that tile there just got another food, which is great. And it might have gone to that tile there, which is fine, but at least one of our tiles got improved, so that's not a problem. Because we're not going to be able to really work on a lot, we're just going to make a beeline towards steel now. That way we could work on that. And then once we have steel, we can really improve the appeal. And we'll go back and work on flight. By that point, you know, honestly, by that point, we'll be kind of closer. Once we pick up that, we can go for this and then go to conservation and conservation. And that way we have access to sanctuaries. We can see here that all those tiles there that we have that are really good appeal will get a lot of additional yield. So those are all very important for us. I want to reserve this for steel though, or for the Eiffel Tower. That is an absolute must-have. That's pretty much going to be like a cornerstone wonder for us to have. So it is very important that we do try to get that if we can try to help it. Let's go ahead and just build the holy site. We'll just get that started at least, and then we'll work on Chancery instead. Once we get rid of these two, I'm pretty certain That'll just open up that value. Actually, these three here, because getting rid of all of this here will actually make this a really solid setup. So I think that's going to be what we want to do, honestly. It'll just improve a lot of these to a minimum, a minimum of charming. So let's go ahead and we can just outright buy a grove here, even though the grove isn't going to be very valuable. It can help. So that's something we can consider. We'll go ahead and buy that. Perfect. As you can see, just a bunch of tiles got improved there. That is an insane tile. 8 gold, 6 culture, 1 production, 2 faith, and 4 food. Right? Just right there. And immediately look at this one. Breathtaking. Boom. Massive appeal. We can chop that. And honestly, that might be a good idea. Especially if we're trying to increase the appeal of a lot of these other tiles. Chopping those marshes out would definitely be a nice thing to do. Especially because a lot of these marshes are actually honestly reducing the value potential in a lot of these places. So that's something we can honestly consider doing. We could always build into somewhere else. So for example, like that marsh right here, we could chop that. That will actually improve that a little bit, but it also just open that up so we can eventually, place ourselves down like a decent holy site. Now, holy sites are kind of the only exception to this whole situation, because once we've already let the other AI get all of the great people or great profits, we don't really have to worry about potentially, getting long-term issues with them. So I'm happy to kind of keep working off of that. So immediately, so just a good little tidbit here, immediately, because we own this tile now, that improves this tile up a little bit. So just small bonuses that are actually applying benefits throughout these other tiles. So we've got the first circumnavigation. It's 5 error score. It's fantastic. We want to keep finding more and more places for us to check out. We'll go ahead and destroy that unit, and then we'll do some more exploration. We'll see if some naval units spawned. If they did, we'll just back out of there. But there's always good potential value that we can gain from just being in the area. So we're getting some good cultural yields. It's not too bad. Obviously, Mapuche is kind of going hard into paint right now with cultural yield. Same thing with Nader Shah. But we should be in a good position, so it's not so bad. We can't make spies other than what we have. Operations do take less time, so we could probably leave that on for now. I'm assuming that our operations do go well, we can get some good value out of that, so I'm kind of banking on that being a decent thing. The gut feeling I'm getting is I'm kind of feeling like Intelligence Agency is a little bit better for what I'm trying to do than Grandmaster's Chapel. If I find that war is really what I want to have to do, I can go into that. But his military is massive, though, and I do want to try to get ahead of him long term. Like, he's got 65 science per turn. I've got 53. And once I eventually get to the point where I have access to conservation, like maybe like honestly at this point, I could just make a beeline towards it now. That would provide me a little bit more value, and I essentially just have to make a rush for that. I could gain a lot from that. Then we can also place down some water parks here, get some entertainment complexes. That way we can get a lot of amenities up and running. We could also get some basic tourism running. So again, just little things that we could do. And he went ahead and placed himself a city in that area. So unfortunately, because he did that, that kind of messes up this. So what I'm going to have to do eventually is, at some point later in the game, declare war and try to take out that particular setup. And then we could just remove that mine. That'll lose us a couple production, but we'll get a lot more other values here. I'm going to hold on to this stuff. It's annoying that he decided to forward settle there, but I should have potentially gone there a little sooner. I wasn't trying to focus too much on that part of expansion because it just didn't make sense at the time to try to do that. So honestly, like, I would rather kind of work our way out of there and just kind of be reasonable. It didn't make sense to just outright push out somewhere without really having like a plan. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to move over here. do that. At least that way we get some good production out of this. You know, that's fine with us. Because really, here's the thing. We cannot, unfortunately, in our position that we're in, we cannot do anything else with this tile once we have this niter down. So at this point, it does make the Monseigneur Michel wonder a little bit faster, going from triple digits to double digits, which is an improvement. Ah, that's awesome. Okay, that's really huge. So these tiles, you can see here that 4 of them gained fertility. That some of these tiles here just gained production. I think that might have gained production. That might have gained production. But the food is better. So all the flooding that's constantly happening within our part of the map here, it's actually because of our ability here, again, intrinsic ability, we do not receive flood damage at all. So we're pretty much in a position where we're just getting better maximum, you know, potential out of it without the cost of losing, you know, some really good tiles. Now, we are going to buy a very nice grove here. 29 gold per turn. Good. So made some deals. Batru. Ah, Batru is the last one. That means we are going to make our way over here. I just realized there was another culture city-state there. That's fine. We'll have to, I'll just have to go back down and see who that is. But there we go. There's another settlement location. Perfect. Eventually later in the game, once we have access to steel and get the Eiffel Tower built, that'll give us some nice bonuses to get towards. We are definitely making, you know, we're making progress towards it. It's going to take, obviously, a long time. Nanmadal, that's who it was. Nanmadal's actually a pretty decent city-state for the purposes of us trying to get some additional culture output. Because we'll keep placing more of these holy sites down, you know, in coastal tiles, so it's not too bad actually. Overall, we definitely made some really solid progress this episode. We've gotten ourselves a much more competitive build here with our culture output. Our gold is honestly helping kind of carry us with regards to getting upgrades and things built. Fortunately, averted a war, so we're not in a bad spot there. We can eventually build towards it. So basically, it's kind of a slow cooker type scenario. We're just going to take our time and eventually build a solid military. Our science is not really that far behind Nadir Shah's, so really, as long as we continue growing and eventually we get access next episode to sanctuaries, they'll be expensive, but they will be amazing for us because that is going to really heavily level up what we have available to us. That being said, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like button. I'd like to ask you to subscribe as well. I've also got a video in the top left part of the screen. Go ahead and check that one out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. SpeeDMan out.